Well, I'm glad I worked that out. And I went, but luckily I had the answer right on the thing, but you would have missed it because I had the wrong number there for this. I had that reversed. Oh, okay. So how do you go about solving that ugly thing? All right. Well, let's just take a look at the ladybug real quick. All right. So here's basically what we have. We've got 2 v naught squared. We got to solve for v naught squared times the sine of basically 102 degrees, okay? And that'll be a positive number for those of you who are going, well, won't that be negative? No, the cosine of 102 is negative. Sine of 102 is positive. All right, divided by g is equal to 7.315. All right, well, what's the first thing? You got to get rid of the g, right? So we'll multiply both sides by g. And we know what g is. It's 9.8 meters per second. So that goes away. Bye, Felicia. Anyway, now we're left with this. So we divide by 2 on both sides. Okay, and so now we're left with v naught squared sine of 102 is equal to 7.3 times 9.8 divided by 2. Put that number here. All right. One last thing to divide. Divide by the sine of 102 on both sides. So that cancels. And so now you're left with v naught squared is equal to some number, this number, divided by the sine of 102. Well, we got one last little bad bear to take care of there, right? Correct. Take square root of both sides. So v naught is equal to the square root of that number that you got here, divided by the sine of this number here. And there you go. And that'll give you your initial velocity. Telling you right now it's a number between 12 and 15 meters per second. Okay? That'll get you in the ballpark. So what is the next equation we had to solve? So that was this one. Okay, so now it's relatively straightforward. You've got this guy, 2v. Hey, you've got that number times the sine of 51, not 102 this time, divided by g is equal to the time. Hey, you can do that. That's just a straight plug-in. This one was the one that was a little bit hard. Okay, so that one's a straight plug-in. You're on your way. Good luck, geniuses. Promise. After this, the class gets easier. All right, class gets easier. We've looked at Newton's laws. We've done acceleration. We've got one last thing that plays a huge part in all sport, and that is friction. And we're going to look at the sport. One of the fun things we're going to do is look at the sport of curling, which is just off the chain exciting. And it is. I mean, it looks like it'd be fun to do, and there's a lot to it. And we'll just look at how friction works in this world. And then that should be it for the course, except for I got one last assignment for you, and I'm going to do it right before we go on Thanksgiving break. And it'll just be one of those where you read 3 articles from Scientific American, and it's about, for Thanksgiving break, of course, it's going to be about food. All right? So out here,